Marcus Webb received the inheritance message on an ordinary Tuesday, a message that would quietly alter the course of humanity's future. His uncle, a legendary mining tycoon who had spent 4 decades extracting fortunes from asteroid belts, had left Marcus something strange instead of credits or ships. The inheritance was a set of mining rights to a forgotten asteroid far beyond the well-mapped trade lanes where human expansion had spread rapidly across the galaxy. The trip took nearly 3 weeks aboard a cramped cargo vessel. During the long journey, Marcus studied every geological scan and profit estimate available, but the information felt incomplete, almost deliberately vague. According to his uncle's private records, the mine had been sealed decades ago and labeled non-viable. That alone unsettled Marcus. His uncle never abandoned a project without reason, especially not one with potential value. When the asteroid finally appeared on his sensors, it looked like a shattered fong suspended in darkness. Its surface was scarred with deep fractures and impact craters. Marcus guided his shuttle into a hangar hollowed directly into the rock. As his lights swept across the interior, layers of dust-covered machinery came into view. Tools lay exactly where they had been dropped, as if the miners had vanished without warning. His boots echoed sharply as he stepped onto the grated flooring and descended deeper into the mine. Motion sensors triggered emergency lights that flickered on one by one, casting long eerie shadows along the tunnels. The air was stale but breathable, preserved by automated systems that had continued functioning long after human hands had left. As Marcus followed the main shaft downward, he passed abandoned drills, transport carts, and sealed workstations. There were no signs of structural collapse or technical disaster. Whatever had happened here had forced the workers to leave quickly. That knowledge sat heavily in his chest. 3 kilometers below the surface, his scanner flagged something unusual, an underground chamber that wasn't just old but impossibly ancient. The walls were etched with symbols that predated humanity's journey into space by thousands of years. The patterns seemed to shift when he wasn't looking directly at them. At the chamber's center stood a dark stone pillar, and chained to it was a woman. Marcus stopped cold, logic struggling to catch up with what he was seeing. At first glance, the woman appeared human, tall, slender, and upright, but the illusion faded the longer Marcus stared. Her skin shimmered subtly, reflecting hues of pearl and deep blue under the emergency lights. Her hair flowed past her shoulders in slow, weightless waves, as though gravity itself did not fully apply to her. Each strand glimmered faintly, like threads of living light. Her eyes were the most unsettling feature. They were open, alert, and intensely aware, watching Marcus with a focus that cut through his shock. There was intelligence there, ancient, patient, and unmistakably conscious. The restraints binding her wrists and ankles were not metal. They were crystalline, translucent, and pulsing with a faint inner glow. These bindings stretched back to the pillar, which Marcus quickly realized was no simple monument. His instruments suggested it was a stasis device, technology far beyond current human understanding, operating on principles still theoretical. Marcus moved closer, raising his hands to show he meant no harm. The woman's gaze followed every step. He couldn't read her expression. Fear? Anger? Oh. Can you understand me? Marcus asked, his voice echoing through the chamber. She tilted her head slightly but gave no reply. Perhaps language had been lost to centuries of imprisonment, or perhaps she had never spoken anything remotely human. Marcus scanned the crystalline chains. The data made no sense. They functioned on quantum layers that bound not only her body but time itself. She wasn't merely trapped, she was frozen within a single moment that had stretched across ages. This was first contact. Humanity's greatest unanswered dream. And yet she was imprisoned. What? Had she been dangerous? Or was she the victim of something far worse? Marcus imagined the miners discovering her, panicking and sealing the mine. They must have alerted his uncle, who likely chose secrecy over disclosure. The old man had buried the truth, hiding it for decades until death forced the responsibility onto Marcus. He had a choice. He could leave everything untouched, reseal the chamber, sell the mining rights, and walk away wealthy. Someone else could face the consequences. The woman shifted slightly within her restraints, then raised one hand as far as the chains allowed. She pointed behind Marcus. Turning, he saw new markings on the wall, different from the shifting geometries. These looked deliberate, instructional, almost like a warning left behind for whoever came next. Marcus spent the next hour analyzing the chamber, combining scanner readings with his engineering knowledge. Slowly the truth became clear. The pillar wasn't just a prison, it was a test. The crystalline restraints couldn't be removed by force or tools. They responded only to conscious intent. Whoever built this place had designed it so that her release required a deliberate act of mercy. Fear or curiosity alone wouldn't be enough. The system demanded choice. Marcus stood before her once more, meeting her glowing eyes. Humanity's exploration protocols echoed in his mind. Avoid unknown artifacts, never activate alien technology, and under no circumstances release unidentified life forms. But humanity hadn't reached the stars by caution alone. Progress had always come from risk, empathy, and the refusal to turn away from the unknown. "I don't know who you are," Marcus said quietly. "I don't know why you were placed here or what happens if I free you. Maybe you're dangerous. Maybe this is a mistake that costs us everything." He paused, swallowing hard. "But I know what it means to be alone. And I won't walk away from someone who's suffered for centuries." He placed his hand against the pillar and focused. Not on strength or logic, but intention. One clear thought filled his mind: freedom. The chamber responded instantly. The crystalline chains shattered into fragments of light, dissolving into glowing dust that drifted upward and vanished. The woman stumbled forward, catching herself against Marcus's shoulder. Her body was warm, alive. She looked at him in disbelief, then spoke. Gratitude. The word was perfect English, yet Marcus understood she wasn't truly speaking his language. The ancient system translated meaning itself. She straightened, stretching limbs that hadn't moved since before human civilization existed. Then she smiled, a gesture unmistakably familiar. "You are kind," she said. "Young. Loud. Burning across the stars. We have watched your species grow." She explained that she had volunteered to wait, to become the test. If humanity reached this place and chose mercy over fear, contact would be earned. Marcus felt the weight of it settle over him. Humanity had been judged not by power, but by compassion. "What happens now?" Marcus asked, his voice barely steady. The woman gestured toward the endless cosmos beyond the asteroid's shell. "Now you meet us, the older civilizations, those who survived their own growing pains." Her smile deepened. "You passed the test, Marcus Webb. Not just you, but your entire species." The realization struck like gravity. Humanity had never been alone. Others had been watching, waiting for proof that humans could rise above fear. "Now I teach you," she said softly. "You have much to learn, and much to offer. You burn brightly like young stars. Dangerous, chaotic, beautiful." She placed her hand over Marcus's chest. Warmth spread through him as if she was touching something fundamental, not just his heart but humanity itself. "You inherited more than a mind," she continued. "You inherited responsibility. Connection. A future where humans stand beside us, not beneath us." Marcus thought of his uncle, who had hidden this truth out of fear. He thought of the choice he had just made. "Yes," he said. "We accept." The chamber erupted in light as dormant systems activated, broadcasting a signal across unimaginable distances. Civilizations older than mountains received the message. Humanity was ready. As they walked toward the surface together, Marcus understood his uncle's true legacy. It wasn't wealth or territory, it was the chance to define humanity's place in the universe. Mercy, courage, and the belief that even in the vast darkness between stars, connection mattered most. She squeezed his hand gently. "Come," she said. "Let me show you what awaits those brave enough to choose understanding over fear." And with that single choice, humanity's future was unlocked.